Hey everyone, Trello.com is the focus of today. An amazing piece of software that is free that you can get for desktop and for phone. I've been using it for quite a while now, and I thought it was about time to be able to make a system that makes this duplicatable so people can understand how powerful and freaking awesome this is to be able to use whether you've got 10 customers or you've got 20,000 customers. Like ongoing as your business gets busier, it gets pretty crazy. It can get pretty crazy for some people being able to track everything that's going on with your business, with customers, promoters, as there are more and more people that get involved with it all. So, should you choose to build a big business and you're wanting to do that, I would highly recommend that you start using this from the get-go. So basically, let me show you a few things here. Trello.com. Go there on your desktop. You can log in using an existing Google login if you've got it, or just create a new email and password. You can also get it on your phone for iTunes or for an iPhone, sorry, and you can also use it for Android as well. So let me just show you how this works. So essentially, I was inspired to do this recently based on the work of some of our amazing community members that created, I've just gone here to the experiencebetter.today website in the onboarding section for promoters, similar to the information that's in the units of the Experience Better Facebook group. But basically what we've got here is that there's a couple of pages called Taking Care of Your Customers and Taking Care of Your Promoters. And on this Taking Care of Your Customers page, it duplicates what's within the file section of the Experience Better website, Facebook page, whereby there's information here. If you click there, that'll give you the instructions on how to use Trello, where you can watch this video. But essentially, after the Finding Customers section, we've got a whole new 60-day customer support that's been painstakingly put together by some people. And I've also included a lot of links and different things that aren't available on the file that you can find in Facebook. So this can really lay it all out as to how you can support someone over the first 60 days. So this inspired me to then make some extra boards on Trello that I think that can be really handy. So let me introduce you to what a board and what sort of language gets used with Trello. So what we've got here is I've got 3 different boards that you are able to actually download or copy onto your own account once you've created a free Trello account. So what we basically got here is if I go to conversation scripts, you'll see here that this here basically mimics, this information on here will mimic, I'll just go back to onboarding, mimics this page here called conversation scripts. So you can get the same information from here and copy and paste the information, or if you choose to use Trello, it's very easy then to be able to get templates of text that help you to converse with people depending on where they're at within the sales process. So if it's someone that's going for your first exposure with them, and they're essentially they're wanting, like you've asked them, what do you know about ketones or ketosis? And they're like, no, I don't know much about it, or they do know something about it, or whatever. This is essentially text that you could then send to them that's going to take them through to the next level, where they watch the campfire video, get validation from customer experiences. They have a link to the Keto Life should they want it. I'm not encouraging people to just be added there straight away, especially people that don't use Facebook that much, but we've given them the link, and if they then come back saying, yep, I'd love to be added to it, then that's when you can do it. But basically, you've got that. You just change your referrer code up there so that they can actually see Experience Keto, or you just get rid of that altogether so they only have experienceketo.com. I won't go too much into any extra detail of that, but just know there are scripts here for following up, closing, when they're ready to buy, how to launch the customer, and then any sort of other miscellaneous stuff. Okay, so this is a board, and essentially what you can do is you can go up here on a desktop at least. The menu options are a little bit different on phone, so I'm going to do as much of this on computer first up on a desktop. When you get access to this actual board, what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to copy the board. Okay, so what will happen is that I think you go here to where it says that, and then you'll be able to click on copy board. You won't have many other options other than you can copy the board, and then you'll be able to rename it other than template prove it conversation scripts. You might just call it prove it conversation scripts. Once that's copied into your account, then you'll be able to even edit it and put in your own wording and things like that where you see fit. Okay, so that is an example or an introduction here to the conversation scripts board. If we now go back to the board section up here, or if I go to the home page up the top left there, now we can look at customer tracking and promoters tracking. Now, if you've already watched this video once before, this is being redone because since I started using this with Bex, we discovered a whole heap of extra things that were awesome. They couldn't be not talked about. That have made things easier for us between the two of us to sync our information together, and it's made it a bit simpler. So what you can see here is that what is this board? This is for customers. It's as simple as that, but there's a color label key. So if you click on that, all of these labels here that are colored are going to explain different things about the person that we're looking at. So just to simplify here, you've got a thing called a board. This whole entire thing is called a board, like a whiteboard. Then we have here what's called a list. This column is called a list. All of these are lists. And then each individual thing on here is then called a card. So the cards are very, very important. The cards allow us to have individual information about a particular person, and we can move these cards as well. So this is the template that you'd be able to download to be able to use to build your own information. Now on desktop, if you actually click on the color, you'll then see all of the colors will then pop up. I had no idea. Well, the labels will then pop up, which I thought was very, very handy. You can't do that on phone, unfortunately, but at least it lets you to then know what do these colors mean. Oh, okay, this Angie Asa is on SmartShip, and they're an interested customer. Hold on a sec, what do you mean? They're already in the all customers over 60 days. They're interested in doing the reboot, for example. Joe Jackson is an example of a customer that is an orphaned customer. So meaning like someone else has introduced this person, but you're supporting them, and they prefer to get personal messages about flash sales. You can organize this and create the communication the way that you want, but these are just some of the suggestions in the way that we've put it together. I've now got a new column that wasn't in the other video and the other way that I did it, called connected customers. So as your business gets bigger and you have customers and or promoters connecting you with different people, this is an example of a team volume promoter named Roger Phillips, and he is connected with me 2 customers, Phil Johns and Tim Zaber. Okay, say for example, Tim Zaber, I just sent a message to him today. I'm going to write here 12th because it's the 12th today. I'm going to click on save, and I can even move him to the top just to sort of remind myself that this is one of someone I've talked to recently. Within these different cards, there's a heap of different other things that you can do with this is where you control the labeling. For example, if you wanted to add one of these extra labels on here that's representative of the person, they're inactive, for example. Due dates, super duper important. So say, for example, Tim wants you to recontact him, or you decide that it's best to recontact him in a couple of days' time. You're going to click on due date. Today is the 12th. I'm going to set it for the 14th. Going to put the time in. Choose the day. If I want it to be 1 day before, I actually want it at the time of the due date. You click on save, and now you've got a due date that'll pop up. So what that'll mean is that on your phone and your desktop, if you've got it set for notifications, you'll get a beep reminding you to then check on that particular card. It's very, very, very handy. For those of you, as your businesses are getting busier and busier, this is just, I think it's ridiculously important. So I'm actually going to clear that now. I'll remove that so I don't get that message myself. Some other things that are really powerful is that when you've got a big list of people on the actual list, all of these different cards, you can click here and move them to a different position. There's only one person on there at the moment, but say if that said 50, you could click on number 1 and then move it, and what's going to happen then is that it's just going to go to the top of this list. Once again, it's just another way of you being able to help see what things and what people you've been talking to the most. Keto Reboot list is a good one to be able to put information about people that are interested in actually doing the reboot with you next month and are interested in being put on a group support thread, or if they've paid for a bulk order reboot. But now in relation to, this is where the 60-day support basically happens. This is all relevant to that. Rachel Johnson, you put her information in there with regards to who she is, the goals that she wants, all that sort of stuff. And then, for example, say, for example, before the product hasn't arrived yet, you're just going to keep that person, she's ready to purchase, so it means that you've actually sent her some information about how to purchase the product. And then say, for example, then she makes the purchase, I'd then move her over to here. And then I'd change the date to remind me in a couple of days again, or maybe 3 days, to check in with her again to see if she's actually received the product. If she's received the product and she's on day one of taking it, I'd then move her to there. I'd then click on here for the actions to take, and here are the actions that you can take to be able to help support that customer at that step. Once you've done that again, same thing, you'd set a due date. If say the due date then goes again in a couple of days, you then move them over to this part, and then you take the next actions, and so on and so forth. And you can do that over and over and over again for all of these different people up until the 60th day. Once they've hit the 60th day, I would then move those people all the way back here to all customers. And that's it. And it's pretty cool. So imagine this. I'll show you an example now of a populated customer tracking chart. This is mine. So there's quite a lot of action going on here. And my list, for example, with regards to interested and personal customers here is it's pretty long. So, for example, it's impossible to search through and know where to get the information about each one of those people. So on your phone and on desktop, you can type in what you're wanting to search for. So in this case, say, for example, I want to search for Beth, she's one of our customers. It's going to come up here. Here's her card that I can click on to get more information. She's also in the June rebooters list because she's interested in doing the reboot next month. And it looks like we've got another Beth that's interested in being a potential. Oh no, we put her on our potential provers list as well on the promoters tracking side that we use. So basically, if I was to click on Beth, I've got information there about her. I can add or change anything. I can change the last time that I messaged her as well. And then I can also, if I've done that, I could go to move and then move her up the chart in the positioning as well, should I choose to do that. So look, I don't want to make this video too long, but just understand it's very powerful. There's a lot of things that you can do with this whole scenario here. And this template that I've given you will make that very easy for you to be able to take those first steps. Another thing that you can also do is you can search for things by color. The way that you do that is you would type in label, colon, and say, for example, green. You want to bring up all of the people that are on SmartShip because that's the way that I've made that label be represented. All of your SmartShip customers will then come up. You can do that on your phone too. It's super duper freaking powerful. It's making life for us so much easier. So the last one that I'll then show you here out of the Experience Better team boards that we've got is the promoter one. So what we've got here there then is same sort of thing. The colors are all the same as on the customer one, but I've got a list for potential provers that you want to keep a track of. Then you've got all provers greater than 120 days. And then you've got the same process to basically take people through, except there's no actions that I've put above them. But you can move people through these different areas here and set up times and dates that it'll buzz you by. So say, for example, John Smith's All-Star is going to finish on a certain date. You can then go in here, set up a due date, put in All-Star finishes on this date, and it's going to help remind you of what to do. Whenever you sign up a brand new promoter, you definitely want to put that same information there about them in the placement lounge area so you know how many days you've got to be able to move them. And then we've also got the events section right there as well. Let me give you just one more last example here of a way that this can be used. And I want to bring it up this time on a phone because a lot of us are using phones, obviously. And let me just bring up my screen. Fantastic. I'm just going to go here to Trello in the bottom left. Okay. So say, for example, I've got this here, and maybe I'll go to my Facebook Messenger and I'll just have a look at a conversation that I've got going on with someone here at the moment. So say, for example, I've got this person here, Benjamin Robbins, and say, for example, I did say something to Ben, and I wanted to take a record of what it is that I've actually said, or just to remind myself that I've actually communicated with him. Then what I would do is I would go to here, okay? I would go to, here's one of my promoters, so I would go to my promoter tracking thread. Oh, sorry, that's the template one. I'd go down here to my promoter tracking thread. Perfect there. I'm going to go to the search magnifying glass up the top and type in Benjamin. Click on done. And I've just got to scroll across until he pops up. There he is. He's in his MVP period. I messaged him on the 11th of the 6th. Here's who introduced him. I've got all of his details about why he's in the business, like all of the actual questions that he's answered from his launch process are all in there as well. And then I can then easily click on that and move it across to the All-Star section once he's finished his Go MVP section. In fact, he already has. He just finished it at 3 p.m. today. So I'm going to move this over to here, click on that one, and then basically I'm then going to, I'll do a bit of extra information there to be able to set it up so that All-Star, I'm then reminded when his All-Star date is up for the future with that. I can click on the X up the top to get rid of that one. And just a couple of extra things for you to know about then with regards to using it on the phone. You'll see the bell up the top right-hand corner. That's your notifications. That's basically going to bring up anything that's been done to any of your boards, anything that's been moved, changed, or you've got someone that you need to, to attend to. If you're done with all of them, the top right-hand corner tick, if you click on that, that's going to mark them all as red and then get rid of any sort of notification associated with it. It's easy to move lists left, right. There's so many other things that you could do, but I'm not going to go through those right now. Reach out to your promoter support that's been using this as well to help you get your head around it a little bit more. But I hope that this is detailed enough to be able to give you the basics on how to now start measuring or tracking your whole business using promoters and customer tracking boards here on Trello. Have a good one, guys, and speak soon.